uh, X, okay? And I think it would be fair to say that all of us have had our share of X's in our lives.
True.
Whether it was for a month, serious, non-serious, rebound, anything we've had. And somehow they are like those ghosts we can't get rid of. They come and they kind of, shadow over our current relationship. Either it's tangible or not, but somehow it's always there. So my first question to you is, why do people get tempted to actually get in touch with their exes, even if it's a bad breakup? Or do you think there is no such thing? Like, is there always innate desire to know what your ex is doing? Or whether he or she is thinking of you? Or how are they partnered up? So, please tell me.
Yes. When two people come together, their nervous systems actually co-regulate. And they form this bond. And they know each other so much that... and it's not at that intellectual level. It's basically at the body level. The intimacy that happens at a neurological level. So when people get out of that relationship, even if it is toxic, even if it is bad, the body remembers that co-regulation. And it's almost like, I can't call it an addiction, but I will call it a craving. So the body craves for that same co-regulation that they once had by connecting to that individual. So that is one scientific reason of wanting to go back to the ex. Okay.
Excellent.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah.
The other psychological reason, not neurological, but what the psychological reason is that, of course, it's a familiar space. Even if our mom and dad are toxic, we still go back home and get into their fights and still participate in that and still, contribute and take part and take in the drama and trauma. So it's a familiar space. So even if we have moved away from it, because of the familiarity, we keep going back to those spaces again and again.
So Gaurav, here's my question on your first thing. So this neurological connection, is there like a time frame to it, like an expiry date? That, okay, it's been 6 months, 1 year, so what is it?
So that's the reason why the first 4 years of marriage or relationship is called the honeymoon period, because that's when all the hormones are shooting in, and then you become co-regulated to such an extent that there is an inner harmony between the two nervous systems, and then they reach an equilibrium, and therefore it begins to wear off at times, right?
Wow.
So when you don't have it, that's when you realize that, oh, my body doesn't have it.
So how long will it take us to kind of get used to and not crave neurologically if we've broken up with an ex? If you could put a time to it, what, 4 years?
Yeah, I think 4 years, yes.
Oof, that's long. That's
very long.
You
could have like n number of exes within those 4 years. And therefore the propensity goes on.
I know.
Oh my God. And I also read that whenever you're with somebody, some part of that person stays with you in like hundreds of ways. And they become like a part of your personality and character.
Yeah,
so they never really leave, in any other thing you think which is contributing, in making us, wanting and keeping, trying to connect with our ex all the time. What makes it easy?
I think it's inevitable to, easily break ties and move away. After all, at the end of the day, you have spent so much of time, you have emotionally invested yourself in a relationship. And even if you parted ways, I'm sure that till the last, you tried your level best to cement it. And therefore, it was too much of emotional labor that went into it. You cannot just forget it at the snap of a finger. It is going to take time. And if 4 years is the period that Gaurav gives us, I can take it. I can really take it. It might take 4 years or even longer for certain people.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So to my readers here, if this is what you're struggling with, Gaurav can also help you get over it. Right?
Yes.
There is a technique to it, right, Gaurav?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yes. So here's my second question to you, Gaurav. Is it that people who have feelings, they are more likely to connect? And I know this just sounds like a very lame question. So let me put it the other way around. That if one is in a committed relationship and the person still thinks of the ex and wants to connect, can we kind of think that there is still a very serious kind of feeling in you? What does the partner do in such cases where one wants to connect and the partner doesn't? So what do we do?
I think the reason has to be established as to why they want to connect. Well, if they already want to connect because there is something in their mind wherein they want to still remain romantically connected and have a romantic alliance, then they will, of course, not let the partner know, or maybe the partner will discover, right? And I believe that the one who wants to connect has to respect the partner's choice, the current partner's choice, that the partner doesn't want them to connect, and therefore they have to let go of that relationship completely so that they can be 100% present here. And the partner who doesn't want to connect also must have respect and honor for the previous partner, because if the breakup would not have happened, this person would not have been available on the first place to the one who is there right now.
Oh, very interesting. Right? So what is your opinion? Should exes stay in touch? So you've not had a bad breakup, you've like broken off and you're in a good serious relationship. Should you stay in touch with your ex? Yes or no, according to you?
I think the answer begins from the premise where you last left. How has the relationship been? How has the parting been? If the parting process has been, the relationship was abusive, it was toxic, it was very manipulative, then you better forget it like a nightmare. It's better to keep past in the past and move ahead. However, from the premise where you have begun, that probably it was an amicable separation. Probably, it was mutual respect for each other, even at the time they parted. Then why not? But then there are certain layers, very, very subtle layers to it. For instance, suppose I was in relationship earlier, and my relationship was very, very romantic, very erotic. I loved being with the partner. However, for certain XYZ reasons, we decided to part. Now, when I go back to the relationship again, are there chances of me falling in love with the person again? Are there chances that I fall into the next cycle of romance with my ex? I don't know, because my relationship was, at the end of the day, not all that bad. It was fair enough. So there are pretty well chances that though I'm committed to somebody else at this moment, I might develop even stronger feelings for my ex, because right now I am watching him or her from a perspective I never watched him or her before.
Wow, that's a fabulous point. Yes. So the distance kind of makes you see someone else, and you're also too close to your current partner and probably a little irked. So yeah, okay.
So it's a very, very subtle sort of demarcation. It's good to be in touch. However, you need to draw a line and keep checking yourself. Keep checking yourself. If you're falling into not that trap, but that fancy trap again, wait, here's where you should put a check. Ask yourself 100 questions. Do you seriously want to go back to that relationship and do away with the current relationship? Or should you stall it here? Give it some time. Give 4 years, like Gaurav says, and then go ahead with the current relationship.
So Gaurav, actually my next question starts from here. Can two people who loved each other at some point and then broke up, can they ever be friends, just friends?
Depends on the premise of how the separation happened. If it was amicable, it is perhaps possible to be friends. But then what happens most of the time is people have dysfunctional childhood. People have dysfunctional adolescence, as a result of which all of these people who have dealt with stress in the most hazardous of ways have a lot of stress trapped in their body. So what happens is, when they are in a stable relationship, a relationship which offers them a coherent, homeostatic environment, they can't deal with that because there is no masala, there's no drama, right? So the body...
Such interesting points coming up. I'm totally loving this conversation. I never thought of relationships, in this light. Yes, go ahead.
So the body also craves that stress. People get addicted to stress hormones.
Oh my God!
Body actually gets addicted to stress hormones. That's the reason why you have people constantly honking in the traffic all the time, because it gives them that high, you see. So the stress gives them some kind of high.
So
which is why, the question that...
Sorry, can I go ahead?
Remember a few minutes before I asked you whether it is there is likelihood of the person falling victim over and over again. I think it stems from here, because you get used to taking stress, and therefore even if you're not in a stressful environment, you tend to create situations around you so that the duplicacy happens.
Absolutely.
And therefore the story gets repeated.